Coming to you from the campus of Utah Tech University in St. George, Utah, this is 70 is the New 50, a podcast on how to be vigorously alive as we age. And now, 70 is the New 50.
Welcome to 70 is the New 50. This podcast is brought to you by the Institute of Continued Learning, where we are geared to working with those 50 and better on the Utah Tech University campus. We teach about 60 classes and each semester, and we have clubs and a fabulous community. It is our privilege to be part of the Live Long, Live Well initiative in our community, and I'm your host, Wendy King. I'm joined today by my accomplished guest, Priscilla Ivimey, a budding comedian. But before I get started, I'd like to just take a moment and pay a bit of a tribute to our founder, Jan Graham Hunt. Jan, we lost Jan this January, and I'd like to just share some of the things she said about this podcast and what was the impetus for her doing this. So here's some direct quotes from Jan. This podcast is a fun look at the joyous side of aging. We are getting younger and healthier as we age, and we are shining light on wonderful examples of doing just that. Aging is not a negative, it is a victory. We are proud of our age, and more importantly, what we are doing at our age. I'm tickled to be 71 and counting, she said. She gave a quote from Muhammad Ali. Don't count the days, make the days count. Stay curious. A quote from Betty Friedan. Aging is not lost on youth, but a new stage of opportunity and strength. And then from, I think this is a great way to end it. She said, we have our existential moments, maybe at 3 a.m, about what life is all about and what we want to do with this life. We seek balance, not too much, not too little. And finally, this is how she ended every podcast, Priscilla. I'm a Francophile and spent last summer in France, a lifelong dream. So I'll end the podcast with this French saying, à la prochaine, until next time. We'll miss Jan, but we are so happy that she gave us the strength to continue on in her absence. So
beautiful.
With that, I think we'll talk about our topic today, which is humor, laughter in learning, and health. How just a simple belly laugh can lead towards a meaningful, healthy, stimulating, and positive life. Priscilla, will you just take a moment and talk to us about how you decided to bring laughter to others?
Sure. Excuse me, and thanks for having me here.
You're welcome.
And it's so interesting to go from the tribute into laughter. They are both connected, and we'll talk maybe a little bit about that. How did I get? I've come from a very funny family. I've always enjoyed laughter. I only went to school to be with my friends. From kindergarten through high school, I never read a book. It was all about fun and laughter. Wow. So I was brought up in that household. And I had I'll make this quick because it's a little bizarre. I was walking in Sun River, that's where I live, and I heard a voice. Okay, so I don't know if this is where Josh turns me off or whatever, but I did hear a voice. And the voice said, find your talent and use it to make the world a better place.
Wow.
Kept walking, heard it again, and I said, what is my talent? I have to listen to this. My talent is that I'm funny. So people tell me. I hope I'm a little funny today. And use that to make the world a better place. And I grasped that and ended up at ICL taking 3 courses that kind of helped me jump off the cliff into stand-up comedy.
That's great.
And I've loved every minute of it. And I'm hoping to advocate for other folks to come along with me and test the waters in comedy for people over a certain age. It is empowering.
Wow, that's great to hear. Well, one article I read said, laughter is a part of a universal language of emotions that all humans recognize. A recent article that was in PubMed talked about it indicates that healthcare providers and educators may utilize the power of laughter to improve health and enhance teaching and learning. It goes on to say that humor improves student performance by attracting and sustaining attentions, reducing anxiety, enhancing participation, and increasing motivation. That's a lot of stuff. But Priscilla, have you seen examples of that?
Yeah, and I say amen to all of that. Absolutely. I've seen it. I've experienced it personally. My undergraduate was in nursing, and I worked on a pain unit, people who have chronic pain. And we taught them about, you had to rethink, if you have chronic pain, sometimes how to smile, because you forget. You're embedded into that, So we used humor, and it's a tricky balance, because we're not saying, you have trouble, pull up your bootstraps. We're not saying that. We're saying, see the funny in something. And so I worked in the pain unit and helped people. I worked in the psychology department and helped people see the humor but accept tragedy at the same time. You know those signs of theater, tragedy, and humor?
Right.
They're very close and very effective upon each other. So we tried to use humor, and it has biological repercussions, side effects. Wow. Increase endorphins, decrease the cortisols, I think they are, and decreases, are you ready for this? The pain.
Wow.
Measurably.
Wow.
So
that's great. Yeah. I mean, I know sometimes, you'll have a kind of a hearty laugh, and it just relaxes you.
Yeah.
I have a story about you that talks about that relaxation. Priscilla and I were in a melodrama class at ICL, and, we have about 8 other actors and actors, now they're all called actors, with us. And, we had a few tense moments in there. Someone might have forgot their lines or, but one of the things I saw you do is you just did a quick quip. That's what I'm going to call it. Mm-hmm. And it kind of reset everyone, and it seemed like they just relaxed a little. Mm-hmm. Did you do that intentionally, or is it just natural for you?
I think it's probably natural, but I'm finding out that I need to do it intentionally as well, because there's many opportunities, I think, to use humor to turn things around a bit. Okay. And I think it has a lot to do with the energy between me and people and me and the audience and the comedian. There is an absolute exchange of energy that can soften a situation. And, I did do that intentionally. And then sometimes things of a comedian come out of our mouth, and we don't know where it came from. And we wish it didn't come from any place. But sometimes it's intentionally. And I felt the shift at times.
Yeah. Oh, that's
And we
great.
can all do that. That's
right.
just not me, for sure.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I've seen comedians do is I'm going to call it self-effacing humor. Mm-hmm. They, kind of make fun of themselves, or, do you think that's important, or it seemed to have some value?
Yeah. That's really, the word is value. That's valuable to me. I do a lot of that.
Okay.
I talk about me. I talk about my faux pas. I talk about growing older. And all that, but using that not as negative, but it's as a positive thing. For example, I might talk about, I had a pregnancy scare last week, and that I thought I was okay, good. And this is what I would tell my audience, and I thought I was pregnant, and and it's I talk. This is a little steep. I say I went to the emergency room, got checked out, and the doctor assured me I had a little bit of constipation, and that was the only problem. That's supposed to be a joke on stage, maybe not here, but that self-effacing, I really didn't have a pregnancy. But the talk of what it's like to get older and slow down, not here. I do a bit on that, a bit on not remembering. It helps me. Yeah. It really helps me. And you know what? It helps somebody else in the audience who is going through exactly the same thing.
Right. And I think, one of the things, it's if you talk about a mistake you made,
Yeah.
for example,
Yeah.
then other people are like, okay, it's okay if I make a mistake.
Yeah. Right.
I think that's great to think about.
Yeah, an example of that is when I bomb. When I'm on stage.
I was going to ask you about this.
Yeah, I do that. And I do that, of course, and I was always afraid of doing that. But honestly, I lean into, I don't know if it's as we get older, we just don't care about what we used to care about. I don't care. I mean, I care. I want people to have, my first thing is I want people to have fun. But if they don't think it's funny, I'm okay with that because I'm having a ball.
Okay.
I'm having a ball, and maybe one person laughs. But I've bombed a lot, and
how do you recover from that?
You laugh about it with your friends. Usually there's other comedians there, and we're all immature, so we're liable to laugh at that. It's hard to explain, but you have to. I don't know what you have to do. I just don't care anymore. Yeah. But I love it when they laugh.
See,
they own me when they laugh. But when they don't laugh, it's not a scourge. It's just, okay, keep going. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, you're just saying, I'm going to keep going on.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on.
Yeah.
Just
and
press on.
And that's a metaphor as we get older, I think. I got a little arthritis. Yeah, I'm a little wobbly on my feet. Press on.
Oh, that's good.
And I do use the comedy routine process to remind myself of that. You bombed. Move on, baby girl. It's all good.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Just an inner thought there.
Yeah, inner thought.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, I think there are some, I'm going to call it dark sides to comedy, where people are just, the comedian is disparaging of other people. I mean, do you do that, or what? How do you avoid it? More importantly,
I know just what you're talking about, and there's clean comedy too versus not clean comedy. Okay, so there's some that is going to be offensive to other people, and I just kind of lean. I mean, I have no interest in that. I don't judge. I seriously don't care if another comedian does it. That's their business. It doesn't interest me, and I don't find it as funny. If I'm going to lean on, take a swipe at somebody, it's going to be me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I don't know if people want to feel negativity. There's so much of it now all over. I think people come to comedy places, like I'll be at the Bistro, I think, Friday. They come there to get away from.
Almost like relief.
Relief, to listen to absurdity. And I'm full of absurdities. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Years ago, my aunt, she was in the military. Her husband was in the military, but she was a military wife.
Wow.
And we would go to visit, and she'd pull out Reader's Digest. And we would sit on the couch, and she had a column that she would always read to us called Humor in Uniform, which because she knew, it was part of her experience being with the families in uniform. That was the most bonding experience when she would read those jokes.
Yeah.
I mean, have you experienced that, or been with readings with people, or how do you kind of promote, besides being a stand-up, is there other ways to get humor out there?
Well, I think I remember reading that as a kid. Now, I never read a book until I got to college, but I would get that Reader's Digest and go to that page and read those silly things on humor, because it's exactly what you're saying. It bonds. It bonds us. I'm sorry. I do. I think it's a unifying. It's the least used unifying technique available to all of us. I really do. If I have an audience, let's say 50 people, on a miraculous night, and I say something, and doesn't matter, both sides, Republican, they both laugh. I think that's golden. Wow. Because they found a commonality. I know it sounds superficial, but I'll go for any kind of commonality we can find. And if I can elicit that, that's a spiritual experience for me right there. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
That's really good. That's really, really good.
And let it rip, too, older folks. I'm here to say, let it rip. Let your humor rip. Let it go out there. And do no harm. And I think it's going to be great. A great adventure. It can be for most people anyway.
So, I mean, that brings me to an important question. Do you get, when you go on stage, do you get butterflies? How do you prepare? And I mean, I guess you've taken professional classes in this. So tell me about that.
Well, as soon as I heard my voice while I was walking in Sun River, I got in touch with ICL.
Okay.
I took the Melodrama by Russ Stevenson. I took Eva Faye's stand-up comedy course. Laughter yoga by a woman by the name of Susan Strickland. Fabulous course. So I kind of ICL really saved me in that and fed me some knowledge that I needed to get up there and do it. And there is, I don't know, maybe some of your folks will identify with this at a certain age. I mean, just go out and try it. That's what I encourage, and do no harm.
Yeah.
But I certainly, the butterflies, I'm more nervous right here, seriously, more, because I'm talking about me per se. I'm definitely much more nervous here. But when I get up on stage, okay, I'm going all out here. I'm going off the deep end.
All right.
I just say, project love onto these people and have fun. You can't go wrong.
Oh.
And that's, I know, it sounds weird. Just love them and see if you can make them laugh.
And do you repeat your jokes? I mean, do you have the Priscilla standards?
Yeah. I found that out once I got involved in stand-up, is that a lot of stand-up comics repeat the jokes from place to place where they play.
Okay.
I might be at Guru's one night or even the comedy. I did a comedy, electric comedy thing. There is some repetition. I write all my own stuff.
Okay.
And that's a whole nother aspect of this, is writing comedy. And I love it. And I'm not a writer, but I am a comedy writer.
Okay.
And so,
So do you sit down at your kitchen table, say,
what's the process?
Yeah, just real quickly. Tell us that.
I have a board in front of my computer, and it has all sorts of things that come to my mind in the middle of the night, such as sneezing, taking medication, falling, things that I have experienced in my life, and I see if I can find some funny there. Okay. Then I will sit down and make a list of what good things are about sneezing and the bad things about sneezing, and then try to gel them together, I know this sounds ridiculous, into a conflict that is funny.
Okay.
Okay, and that probably didn't make any sense. But take a course if anybody's interested in this. I've read books, I love writing. One really quick story I'll tell. I was in a writers group, and I don't know if I'm sure you've been in so many writers groups, and that you had to pass out your samples of your work. So I joined this writers group thinking, I'm going to learn how to write. And they were writing memoirs. And I thought, I'll do this. And I could not write a word. When people handed out their copies of their work for that week, I would say, here's my example, and it was a blank sheet of paper. I could not do it. And they stood with me for a while. But I couldn't write it. Once I found out that I was going to be doing comedy and had to write it, I'm telling you, it flowed out of me.
Wow.
So write what you want. Write what your soul tells you to write about. So it comes easy. and I get a kick out of myself. This is embarrassing to say. When I go in the room, the little office at home, and start writing stuff, I get a kick out of myself. And now that's funny.
And do you kind of laugh at your...
I laugh at myself. I know.
That's great.
But it's true. I feel good. So that's another benefit of delving into this kind of humor thing. I think it's funny. Yeah, and the ego has to go off to the side.
Right. See, that's probably very important.
Yeah. And I write about recovery, too. I'm in recovery. Uh-huh. And I throw that out. And some people can identify and some people can't. But ego, for me, it raises its ugly head, sick ego sometimes. And but for the most part, I'm trying to dismiss it because it gets in the way of my communication, my love for another person. That sounds preachy. Ooh, take that out.
That's good. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. You're allowed to do that.
Oh, my goodness.
And then can you just, real quickly, can you just give us a joke? I mean,
oh, my gosh.
What do you call it? That's not improvising, but you're improvising the scene right now.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
Hurry up, be funny, be funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Funny.
Now, that's very helpful, what he just did.
Right? It relaxed you, right?
Yes. Can I? Oh, gee whiz. Well, my attempt before was about the pregnancy scare. Right. That was an attempt to be funny. Because I really didn't have a pregnancy scare. But, oh, my goodness.
How about forgetting things?
Yeah, okay.
What did you forget?
I forgot.
How about you forgot to come to this yesterday?
Oh, I see where you're going. Very good. Yeah, exactly. That I will make a bit out of that.
See?
Now, to cover my whatever, I didn't forget to come. I forgot to come at the right time.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, yeah, that's a save. That's a save. A joke. Boy, that's really funny. No, I can't. How's that for a comedian?
There you go.
Oh, there you go. I'm an idiot.
I'm sorry I put you under that pressure.
No, you didn't. I should have come with something.
And let's just, going from there, maybe to end today.
We're ending? I don't want it to end.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Every good thing has some kind of an end.
Oh, thank you.
But we'll let you draw it out a little bit. What would be 3 pieces of advice that you would give to folks on how to practice laughter, see humor, or how maybe they could even try to tell a joke?
Yeah, absolutely.
3.
1, take a course.
Okay.
And I'm not pushing ICL, but there's some great courses there, and I mention them. 2, read a book.
Oh, okay.
Read a book. And 3...
You mean like a book on...
stand-up comedy.
Okay, all right.
I just pick them up and read them,
Right.
And the other thing is, this sounds silly, practice smiling. I'm giving a challenge to all women over the age of 3, actually. Practice smiling, use those muscles, and it softens the soul. So I'm all for it. And if anybody's interested in trying to figure out how we can get more comedy around here, I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to listen, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, folks can contact ICL and learn a little bit more about the courses. So
the courses are supreme that I took.
That's excellent to know. Good.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I guess if... the first thing, what should I do if I went on stage? What would be the first thing I'd say? Hello, everyone? What do you do?
Well, I start off with, hello, everyone. I'm a nervous wreck and I don't belong here. And then I tell them the story of hearing the voice. And then I assure them that the reason I'm here on stage is because I'm not all here. And that I just don't care anymore. And I find it important that I'm 76 years old, which I am. And that I have a need to get up on stage because... The Spirit told me, now that this is where you edit this, where I have a desire to do this.
That's great.
It is great.
No,
but
I think that, it comes from somewhere.
It comes from somewhere.
That's wonderful.
It's well said. That's well said. It comes from somewhere.
Well, Priscilla, it's been great having you here today. And I would like to close with maybe a little quote that really inspired me to think about relishing humor.
Yeah.
So this goes, I'll say it. The sense of humor is the oil of life's engine. Without it, the machinery creaks and groans. Not so loud, no aspect of things is so grim, but with humor, it relaxes us before we have a hearty laugh.
Oh, amen, sister. That's beautiful. That's a great way to wrap it up.
All right. Well,
Really
that's
nice.
a wrap today. And thank you to my guest, Priscilla Ivimey, and all of you for joining us for 70 is the New 50. Stay curious, and we will see you next time.
Oh, this was fun. Yay. Yay.
Thank you for joining us on 70 is the New 50. Don't miss future episodes for inspiring and eye-opening discussions about living a fully engaged life as we age. We'll see you next time on 70 is the New 50. This has been a production from a podcast studio.